So welcome guys and girls back to Conqueror Blade. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting unit that came this season, which is Huskarls. Huskarls are the new unit that came this season, season 12. It is an epic unit that has 230 leadership, minding 10 leadership has been deducted for this season, so next season this will be 240. It has a maximum level of 22 and it is a 4.5 star unit. Let's start off with the unit orders, because once you know what the unit orders actually means, then you can easily understand the veterancy lines. Instead of having plain 1, 2, 3, they actually have now a plain series of unit orders. Once you apply one, then you can apply the other, then you apply the third. You have to apply the first one in order to get to the next phase. So for Huskarls we have 2 unit orders initially. When you start you will have the bow snout. So when you press this ability, which is the one ability, the Huskarls will form a line with you and they will knock anything that is in front of you. The second ability is the Skull's Song. So this is the reason why Huskarls are so powerful, that it can defeat the most meta units like Madao Battalion, Iron Reapers, Palace Guards, Shield Maidens, the top of the top, you name it, they can defeat it, and this is the reason. And this is also a penalty that they have to give for being such a strong warriors. When they're chanting the song, mind, it takes at least 15 seconds to get to their last phase, and during that 15 seconds they take increased damage and they do not protect themselves, and you cannot actually move them. If you move them, the song will be stopped right at the moment. So that 15 seconds of invulnerability allows them to have such a high attack. So once their song is finished, the first phase is going to be your Huskarls charge. Now this is the most powerful phase that Huskarls have, and this is the phase you want to attack anything at all times. Huskarls will charge at the enemies and they will deal a lot of damage. So our second stage, which is the Sea Surge, is just like our third stage, but it is a little less powerful. They have less attack and they have less damage reduction during that phase, but still this phase is extremely good. However, our third stage, which is actually our first stage when we charge the Huskarls, is a Boar's Rush. Now this stage, although on paper looks quite promising, but it is extremely useless and it does not do much. So you're better off just getting out of their fight, healing yourself and your Huskarls, and then sing the song again and get to the third stage all over again. So now you have understood unit orders. Now we can talk about the veterancy lines. I will give you 3 veterancy lines, 3 types of playstyles that you can have. These playstyles have been working for me a lot, and you can mix and match depending on what you want to do. So let's talk about our top line, which is the attack line. So as you can see, our top line actually focuses on our first ability. Burst now reduces the cooldown, and it focuses heavily on attacking sides of the Huskarls. The last perk being they can reduces all of the unit's defenses by 3% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. On reaching 4 stacks, all fracture stacks are used up to deal extra damage. Now this is why the Huskarls are so powerful on the top line. Now the pros of the top line is that you can destroy heavily armored units like Iron Reapers, Palace Guards, and any of the shield units in an instant, because they can reduce the defenses, and then when the stacks are done they deal extra damage, and that is how you can deal immense amount of damage, defeat your enemies, and take minimum losses. The cons of this going top line is that you cannot take fights plainly with some of the other units like pikes. Madao Battalion, Imperial Pike Guards, Fortebrachos are the units that you cannot take fights so easily, because if you make a mistake, you're not in your third ability, they will die and you will lose them. Coming down to our defensive line, which is the middle line. Defensive line, this line provides a lot of defenses and blocked. And the last ability, Attacks while wielding a shield apply slow, reducing the unit's movement speed by 3% for the 10 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. Upon reaching 4 stacks, all slow attacks are used up and the unit is stunned for 1 second. So the bottom line is the defensive line, which I love the most. I started with the bottom line and I liked it best. In my opinion, this is the best line you can go for with your Huskarls. But that is because I have those types of doctrines I can make up for the damage. So the bottom line provides you the ability to take on the units like Madar Battalion, Imperial Pike Guard, Fortibratius, any of the pike units. Along with that, they can also take down Iron Reapers and any of the shield units, but they will take a little bit more time and they will use up all of their abilities, but at the same time they can stay in the sustained melee fights a bit longer than usual. So these bottom middle line is extremely useful for prolonged attacks, team plays, because when you go in you can reduce the defenses of the enemies, allowing your ally units to move in and defeat the enemies if you cannot. The cons are not that much, except that you do have a little less amount of damage and you won't be able to easily kill the units that you're normally able to with the top line. So now the third line is actually not a complete line. If you go for the third line, you will have to mix match one of the top lines, although you won't be able to take the final skill. So the bottom line takes 3, 6, 8 and 9 of the total of the 22 points. So you can go for the middle line if you want more defenses, or you can go for the top line. The bottom line itself gives you blunt damage, a little bit of damage reduction, and damage reduction during Skull Song. As I was talking about, the second ability, Skull Song, during that ability we take increased amount of damage. During the ability we take increased damage, but that damage can be reduced by this skill or node, which is gonna decrease the damage by 10%. But the skill itself, which is the Skull March of the Odin, Skull Song heals 0.5% of the maximum health every second as they chant for up to 20 seconds. However, it also increases the damage taken by 20% for its duration. Now, you can choose to take this and not take this, keeping the benefits of the 10% less damage during the song, or you can take this ability and get instant healing or healing over time whenever you're chanting the songs. Now I will tell you that when I was testing this bottom line, this ability does not actually work. Maybe this is working right now. If it is, it might be a good choice if you're doing the middle line and the bottom mix, and it can work really well with you. So let's talk a little about traits. The leadership is reduced 10 by 10. The surging power, Skull Song bothers so they take 50% increased damage during their songs, which can be decreased by 10%, but then if you go for the loss ability, it will be increased by 20% extra, which means that you will be taking 60% extra damage. The Norse Rat, Skull Song also affects other nearby Norse units, increasing their movement speed, piercing armor penetration, and all the rest of the benefits. Allows Huskarls to be a great in team play. If you have any units like Fenrir's Pack, Berserkers, Shield Maidens, or the new Vengadian Guards, which all of them are Norse units, or any other unit of Huskarl with you, you can increase their stats also as you are chanting your song. So these are the normal stats of my Huskarls. If I go for the top line, minding that I do have some good doctrines on them. And let's talk about formations. The first formation being dispersed. The normal formation protects you from the range attacks. Second formation is the shield formation. This is the formation that you will be using for most of the time, because in this formation they are compact, and the best ability is this is the best formation when you're doing the charge. So I'm using the slashing damage, as slashing damage is the primary attack type of the Huskarls. I have the Epic Sword Doctrine 1, which increases the slashing damage by another 70 and the blunt damage by 70. I have the Huskarl Stone, which you can get by doing the 4th line of the Huskarls unit challenges. It will give you 10% increased movement speed as well as 15% extra damage during your charges. I have the Breakthrough Doctrine, which increases my attack by another 95 points against any enemy units. This does not work on heroes, but it works on enemy units. I have the Stalwart, which increases the defense by 80 and slashing defense by 80. If you have this one, this is a must no matter which line do you go for, because because the benefits are extreme. Now, if you want to go complete attack, you can put something like this. Increases damage inflicted in siege battles. If you have Iron Sight, which increases your defenses by 150 for 10 seconds when you apply it, you can apply that too. It will also help you a lot. Other than that, you can mix and match whatever you want in however situation you would like to go in. It's an AI battle, and here I will actually demonstrate how you can use the Huskarl different abilities. First of all, let's charge our Huskarl by pressing 2. They'll start chanting the song, and it will take them first wave. As you can see, first ability comes in and it tells you what it actually does. This is the third ability. Let us fully charge, and now our Huskarl will have increased movement speed. As you can see, they are extremely powerful, extremely attack, and just when the ability is over, we're gonna press 1. As you can see, they have a bad AI. The best possible way to use your Huskarl is by, if you hold your formation button, you can actually choose where you want them to go in the same formation. You choose your formation behind the enemies like this, and when they start going that way, you press that ability. That is how they're gonna charge straight in that direction without making a mistake. Now I'm gonna start charging. I'm gonna invite the enemies, as they have sometimes done. I do not wanna come in. Well, we do have time. So our ability is charged. I'm gonna place my charge behind the enemies, and then when they're close, I'm gonna press 1, and look at that, carnage. As soon as my second ability is here, you press 1 again, and then at this point you just wanna get out. No matter even if the enemies are alive, you just wanna get out of there. Alright, our third or the second wave is here, and I will show you in this wave how you can use the Huskarls as a defensive unit in choke points. You can see in the defensive formation, they will do their best to take. You can see they're gonna keep on attacking. But at the same time, if you press V, they're gonna go ahead, they're gonna slash, they're gonna bash, and they will kick the enemies randomly. Now at these points you can press 1 to make them completely bash the enemies behind, knocking them back. You can see, clearing up the choke points, you can press V to deal insta damage. Press 1 again when the ability is back, and the enemy will be dead. This is best when the enemy is annoying and has an active lock just like you. This is very useful against heroes that have active locks like longsword, short sword. This is very useful against expedition knights and any other units that plays just like this Huskarl or they have an active lock. Hopefully you had fun during this guide, and I will be making a lot more guides during the future, so please like, subscribe and share, and I will see you in the battlefield.